What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Footy Review. We're talking about Champions League today, match day number 2. Let's get into Group A. Only half of the group played today. Napoli versus Rangers will be tomorrow, but we got Liverpool versus Ajax today. I was super excited for this game, especially to see how Liverpool was going to bounce back from getting smacked by Napoli in the first match. Liverpool with a 2-1 win in the last minute. In the very last minute. All right, let's be honest. I think Liverpool dominated the game. They were clearly the superior team. However, still struggling, to get that breakthrough, and they're suffering all the way to the end. Now, this is the Champions League. If you can win by an inch, I mean, the thing is you got to win. You got to win, even if it's by like the smallest margin. But Liverpool, although they played well, still not as free-flowing in the attack and not as, devastating in terms of goal scoring as they have been in past seasons. And, for having a far less quality squad, I think Ajax played well, and they gave themselves a chance to get points all the way to the very end. What are your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I mean, Ajax is always somehow, even though they sell their players every year, they're always somehow very, very good. And I think it's a little ridiculous at this point that people keep getting surprised by this team. Obviously, what they're doing over there, it works, whether it's youth development, scouting, player development. Their tactics are always pretty good. The coaching is always pretty decent. Yeah, I think it is interesting to see that even when Liverpool is dominating a game, they're still struggling, whether it's to get the ball in the back of the net, whether it's defensive errors. Ajax goal, it was a good goal, especially the strike was incredible. But
came down Trent's side again, by the way, the goal.
Yeah, but it is, defensive kind of missteps that got him to that position in the first place. And yeah, Liverpool, it seemed like they were firing on all cylinders, but they couldn't get the ball in the back of the net, and like you said, had to suffer all the way to the end to get that win. And to be honest, it's a win that they really, really needed after dropping 3 points to Napoli. Had they dropped more points, whether it was 2 or 3, that would have been, I think, a pretty big shock just in general. And then, you're put with your back against the walls 2 games in. And, a team that we've seen, with a team that we've seen that Liverpool can be, it's kind of shocking to see them fall this much with, a pretty similar squad to what they've had over the years. It's not like they've had any major changes. I guess you could say that, Tsimikas wasn't, in my opinion, an expected starter. Elliott has broken into the squad, and Thiago was also a starter, but that's not as out of this world. And with Mane gone, it is Diaz who is taking up that role. And honestly, for as hot of a start as he got at the beginning of his Liverpool career, I think since then he hasn't really been impressive.
Yeah, so a few things on the Liverpool performance. So the one thing I was really wanted to see what that midfield was going to look like, because last game when they played against Napoli, I think having Milner starting a Champions League game for Liverpool is kind of ridiculous at this point. Like, realistically, what is Milner going to give you in a Champions League game? So they got the midfield remained the same, except they put in Thiago, who was much more of a creative link-up type of player. I think that allowed for Liverpool to at least be able to get into good positions and have good combinations on the ball. His job isn't the finishing, his job is is the creating. So I think that made a big difference. Diaz, he played well. I think Diaz is he's having good regular performances for Liverpool. And Salah, obviously, with the goal, it was the first goal, right? That Salah scored?
First goal.
Salah getting on the score sheet early in the game. And listen, it was a win. I wonder how much of a difference not playing over the weekend would have made for Liverpool, because they were supposed to play against Wolves this weekend, and then due to the passing of the Queen, all the Premier League games got canceled. So I wonder if that week could have helped them a little bit, because if they then play against Wolves and have a bad performance, now super extra pressure on this game. I don't know. It's interesting to think about that.
Yeah, no, it didn't even. But you're absolutely right. All the Premier League teams are nice and rested for this second UCL game week. So I think we'll probably see that probably with more of the English clubs as well, because they're the only ones who, got a rest over the weekend. Because, not every country has queens that die and cancel the sports. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, I think that probably made a big difference. But I also wonder what kind of, mental toll it takes on them that they are struggling so much to eke out this performance um, against Ajax. And then, with the really poor start they've had to the beginning of the season, I don't know. I think that that definitely has to weigh on players. And, like when you know the type of team you can be and you don't live up to that, you kind of walk off the field, head a little low, a little disappointed, whether in yourself, the team, or honestly, sometimes just a little confused. Like, what is going wrong here? So I'm curious to see if they continue to struggle like this, because at the end of the day, I think it does take a toll on a team to have to, you know, rough it out every single game. It seems like, they had one really uh great win in the Premier League a few weeks ago, with a 9-0 win, I think, against Brentford.
Bournemouth.
Bournemouth. But even so,
No,
it,
there's questions about Liverpool now. Like
but yeah, and
even though they
even so,
got this win, yeah, there's
right, and
questions.
even so, like, not even just questions from, the outside. I wonder if there's questions on the inside of that club, especially from, maybe even big name players like Van Dijk, who we once thought of as the best defender in the world, and now, you know he's a big cause for some of Liverpool's defensive errors. Same with Trent. um you know, as great of a sister, the service he provides, but, there's more to the game than that, and he's just not delivering on that front.
No, I agree. One other player in particular I wanted to focus on was Darwin Nunez. I thought he was actually going to start this game, and he ended up starting on the bench. Diego
Yeah.
Jota is the starter and as the striker position, and he had an assist, to be fair to him. And then Nunez came on, who's supposed to be, the big gun, the Erling Haaland of Liverpool, so to
Right.
speak. But I don't think he played that well, honestly. He's still leaving
Yeah.
a lot to be desired for me. So
Especially for that price tag as well.
yeah, I'm wondering if there's a panic going on or if people are questioning the decision of signing Darwin Nunez this summer.
Yeah, I agree. And for some reason, something I'll never really understand is when clubs uh, just drop the bag on players that are kind of, I don't want to say anonymous. It's not like people didn't know who he was, but, you go from a smaller club to all of a sudden, you get a badge on your chest that carries a lot of weight. A lot of players can't carry it. A lot of players don't live up to it. We've seen so many busts over just the course of soccer history, and it happens very, very often, more often than I would have expected, when I was younger. But
I'm not gonna call him a bust just yet.
no, 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 I know. I'm not either. I'm just saying, in terms of what was desired from him coming in and what he's produced, there's a big difference.
Yeah. And last point on the Liverpool lineup, I thought they had to get Joe Gomez out of there after last week's performance. So
Yeah.
Matip got the start with Van Dijk. Definitely helped shore up that defense a little bit. Still not on the same level of Liverpool defenses that we had a few years ago, but definitely an improvement. Now,
He got the
big,
goal.
that's true. Last minute goal. Big picture for the group now. So Napoli plays Rangers tomorrow. I'm anticipating a Napoli win. So if Napoli wins that game, they'll have 6 points, and then Ajax and Liverpool will be tied on 3 points. In this situation, I think Liverpool has an advantage because their
Yeah.
back-to-back games are against Rangers. So in
But
theory,
if they drop points in one of those games,
yes, that is true. In theory, that should be 6 points. And if they get 6 points, we'll have to see how Napoli and
I
Ajax.
actually would like to. I'm kind of excited for those games, because I
No,
think
definitely.
those are going to be, I think, pretty good games.
They're going to
From
be good games.
two teams that, I guess people, not that people weren't expecting anything from these teams, but we're expected to be kind of still a Liverpool walkthrough to victory, and they've proven that they're not teams to be underestimated. So I think that those will be two very good games.
I have a prediction. I think they're going to split them. Like Napoli will win one, and then Ajax will win one. That's my prediction. But
Possible.
the point of the matter, though, is that Liverpool has a chance now to get 9 points like in a row, with this win against Ajax and then Rangers twice. So in theory, if Liverpool, as long as Liverpool does their job, and I think with the performance that they had today, it will be more than enough to beat Rangers.
Yeah.
In theory, I think Liverpool should have no problem getting out of this group. Like you said, though, if they drop this, or let's say, I don't know, if Napoli and Ajax split and they each pick up 3 out of 6 points, and then Liverpool like struggles against them in the last 2 games, now that's interesting. But we got to see what's going to happen.